Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be week 1 of the ADL. We're going to get started. So the opponent we're facing against this week is actually we have kind of a bad matchup. So we got the opponent is Groudon, Spectre, Victini, Excalibur, Manabuzz, Primarina, Nihilego, Heliolisk, Decidueye, Decidueye Hisui, Fortress, and Mega Audino. So just looking at this overall, I think that the first 6 are coming. So Groudon, Spectre, Victini, Excalibur, Manabuzz, and Primarina. Nihilego could come, but I feel like it just gets walled by Aggron too well for them to consider bringing it. Let's see, and then I think like Heliolisk is also just walled by Latios quite well, and just doesn't do much. It also gets walled by Rillaboom. Decidueye could come as well, but Arceus Fire deals with that pretty well, and I just don't see it making much progress. And Fortress obviously gets deleted by Arceus Fire. I also have pretty good fire coverage in a lot of my mons if I want to bring that. And just, any special attacker like Latias can just, invalidate it. And given that I have Rapid Spin on Blastoise, I just don't think Hazard Stacking is going to be his plan. Mega Audino could come, but I just don't think it will. It's kind of really passive, and I do have answers for it, namely Mega Aggron. So first 6 are probably coming. Primarina as well is actually I'm not entirely sure if it's coming, because while it does beat Urshifu decently, it does have to fear Poison Jab. It doesn't have the best physical defense in the first place, and also its water moves are reduced by Groudon's Sun, so it might not even come. And if it didn't come, then maybe Decidueye would come instead to take on those dark hits, but mostly one or the other. Manabuzz is going to be the main switch in, I think, so we'll just see how we deal with that. We're going to start off here with our Lucio, the Rillaboom with Choice Scarf, Woodhammer, Knockoff, U-Turn, Superpower. Basically, because I'm running Choice Scarf, I don't think I need Grassy Glide, and Grassy Glide being nerfed means that it's not as spammable as it used to be. Woodhammer I chose because it guarantees an OHKO on a 0 defense Groudon. 0 defense, 0 HP Groudon right off the bat, and if I don't kill it, then I get a lot of information. But mainly this thing's here to get Grassy Surge off. Likely I'm going to lead with this and then go U-turn. Knockoff is also here to get rid of Boots on Manabuzz, so that Stealth Rocks are much stronger, because it's its only removal. So that is worth considering as well. Superpower hits Excalibur as well, and Knockoff, of course, I can also just spam it to break a Spectre. Next up we got Eternal Kingdom, the Mega Aggron with Stealth Rocks, Iron Defense, Body Press, and Crunch. Perfect coverage. The only thing is that even Primarina takes over 50% after an Iron Defense, and yeah, after 1 Iron Defense, nothing kills this thing. Nothing even 2-hit KOs this thing. Sun Boosted V creates 2-hit KO Aggron after plus 2 on an Iron Defense, and a Crunch does really good damage. Body Press does really good damage. Obviously, I'm not going to be using this to answer Victini per se, but basically this thing can sit for days, can guarantee rocks up. It can even beat Groudon with some support. And basically this thing here is to kind of punish Manabuzz from sitting around too long, because it can't really do anything to this. And even a Spectre can't free it KO me with unboosted Shadow Balls, which I think they will be unboosted, because I just don't think he'll lock himself into Shadow Ball. He could, but I feel like he wants to use Draining Kiss tech, because this gen Spectre gets Draining Kiss, which kind of completely invalidates my main Ghost answer in Urshifu Single. So we're gonna have to be careful around that, which is why we're running a second Scarfer in Urshifu Single. Pressure points the Urshifu. We could blow Sucker Punch, Poison Jab, and U-turn. First 2 moves are self-explanatory. The reason why I'm running Scarf is because I don't want to have to read Sucker Punches and Wicked Blows between Spectre. I don't think he's going to be Scarf, because it's just a bad brain. A Scarf Shadow Ball doesn't really make him outspeed anything aside from a +1 speed Arceus or a Crobat, which I'm not bringing Crobat, by the way. Yeah, and locking yourself into Shadow Ball is just bad, especially if you want to use Draining Kiss, which kind of just completely invalidates it. So I wanted to also invalidate a substitute set. For example, if he wants to go for a substitute, I have to either click Wicked Blow or Sucker Punch. If I go for Wicked Blow as he Draining Kisses, I die instantly, I get one shot. If I go Sucker Punch while he substitutes, I die next turn and can't do anything about it, as he Draining Kisses as well. So I need to be very careful around that, so instead, I thought I might as well just click the Scarf Wicked Blow instead. Wicked Blow also OHKOs Victini from full. If it's no defense investment, which it likely will be, I think it will just be Bandit V-Create or Scarf V-Create. Or even Specs, but I don't think it will be bulky Victini. So that's worth noting, and U-turn obviously is when I don't want to make, when I predict a Primarina, for example, but don't want to invest fully into it. Poison Jab hits everything that resists Wicked Blow, namely Mandibuzz and Primarina. Might change that to Thunder Punch. Should I change it to Thunder Punch? But it doesn't hit Groudon. I'll consider it. You guys will see if I change it at the end. But Thunder Punch might be better here. Yeah, because I'm kind of lacking things to hit Mandibuzz, so we'll see. Next up, we got Latias. Zenith the Latias with the Eject Pack, Grass Knot, Reflect, Healing Wish, Draco Meteor. Quite an interesting set. This was the last set I made before finishing. I felt like everything else was kind of, all the big threats were kind of dealt with reasonably. And so I just kind of had Latias as my sixth option as my luxury pick. Grass Knot. So this is going to be, I guess I'll explain the plan. The plan is to lead Lucio, and then if Groudon's in front of me, I can click U-turn into Latias to take the Precipice Blades or Heat Crash or whatever for free. I get up a Reflect as he threatens, as he might fear Grass Knot. And then if he stays in, I can go click Grass Knot, or I can just click Draco Meteor with a Jetpack to leave, because I after Reflect I predict the Mandibuzz at least, because to defog away the Reflect and the grassy terrain, and so Draco Meteor sends me straight into Aggron, hopefully, which would just give me a perfect time to just get up rocks and also our defense body press some stuff to get some good damage done, and that's basically my opening plan, and we'll see how that goes from there. I doubt he will lead Groudon, to be honest, but that was just one thing I could do, because I wanted to lead Lucio always. Grassy terrain setting is quite important for my strategy, and then I just didn't want to lose instantly to Groudon. I didn't want to lose instantly to Victini. Latias takes a Victini hit pretty decently as well, but I do have a dedicated answer in a bit, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Fifth option, fifth mon is Arceus Fire, Divine Flame the Arceus. With the Flame Plate, obviously. Substitute, Dragon Dance, Flare Blitz, and Stone Edge. Hopefully this thing sweeps. This is our win condition. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, Reflect only and not Light Screen, because his special attackers are Primarina, which, like I said, Aggron kind of invalidates, and Spectrier. And Spectrier, while it's scary, I don't think it's worth setting up Light Screen for, just because I can always Sucker Punch it afterwards, and I don't really need to tank its hits, more so I just wanted to never be able to click Shadow Ball in the first place. So yeah, and Healing Wish, of course, can restore a Aggron, for example, or just maintain momentum after a Jetpack's been used. So yeah, Arceus is self-explanatory. The resist to fire are Victini and Primarina, but Primarina doesn't take anything anyway. Takes a lot of damage from Flare Blitz anyway, especially if the sun is up, which it will be because Groudon's coming. And Stone Edge is just really there to hit, first of all, Mandibuzz, and second of all, Victini, but third of all, Baxcalibur, because Baxcalibur has an ability, Thermal Exchange, which boosts its attack when hit by a fire move. So while if I don't kill it outright, that could be a problem if it goes for a Scarfed attack, and I'm not set up. So Stone Edge is nice to just hit it neutrally. I could also just bring this in randomly throughout the game, just to click Stone Edges, if I wanted to, and kind of bait being just like a 4 attacks kind of deal, and then bring it in with Healing Wish later. But yeah, I do have to be wary about rocks though, so we'll see how that goes. Substitute is just there if I can switch in on like a Victini that's like locked into V-Create. and just punish it out and I click substitute as he goes into like Mana Buzz or something, and just, you know, kind of see what moves I want to go for. And lastly, we got Cash Money, the Blastoise. Flip turn, Rapid Spin, Toxic, Terrain Pulse. This is my switch into Victini. Not the best. It can take, it's not that bad actually. It can take 3 Scarfed V-Creates in the sun, I believe, but it can also take 2 Banded V-Creates in the sun. So with a after Citrus Berry, most of the time, if Crisis Terrain is up. So a lot of conditions, which is why Lucio needs to lead. Rapid Spin is for hazard support. He doesn't have the best rockers. His rockers, if I can just pull them up, are Nihilego, Groudon, and Fortress. And while they are good, Fortress I don't think is coming. And if it's coming, that's good for me, honestly. Groudon I don't think will be rocking. And if it is, then that's good for me as well, because it's not Life Orb SD. And then, what's the last one? The last one is Nihilego, which I said isn't coming, I don't think. So, yeah, should be fine, but Rapid Spin is just there in case I can't. I don't trust that hazards aren't coming enough that I'm not bringing removal at all. Toxic is there to punish a switch in of Primarina or whatever. Nothing takes a Toxic in his team, so Toxic is always just a free option just to click. And Terrain Pulse is really good to switch into Primarina, because normally Primarina switches into all of Blastoise's hits, so I would assume Primarina is his Blastoise answer, and he has to fear Shell Smash, so I would assume he does that. And Terrain Pulse does a lot of damage. It also does more than 25% to Spectrier, which is really good because it means that he cannot set up substitutes on me. And yeah, it also hits ground on hard, so that's why I chose Terrain Pulse over any other move. It's a 130 base power grass move if you consider it after the grassy terrain boost, so it's pretty good. Of course, this does mean I can't actually hit Victini, but he doesn't know that. Toxic is still really good on that, and I feel like just from eating the V-Creates alone, he has to be forced out after a bit anyway. And if he's non-choice item, he can go for Bolt Strike, but I believe that Bolt Strike doesn't kill after a V-Create if he's not choice banded, which he can't change moves if he's choice banded anyway. So it should be pretty fine. Of course, this is like a one-time answer, but I think that's enough. Flip turn is just to maintain momentum and see whatever he switches into with Victini, so I can just kind of keep the momentum up. Ideally, we don't need to switch into Victini too many times because our team is pretty offensive. Lots of scarfing, lots of pivoting. We keep up the positioning game, and hopefully we can win that way, and then hopefully get an end game where Arceus is able to sweep because everything's chipped enough from all the U-turns and wood hammers and whatnot. So yeah, that's the team. Hopefully we'll see how it goes. This is actually recorded like a week before the battle, so I might actually watch this again myself when I play, just to see what I actually built. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a week. Alright, we're in the battle, so we have our opponent here with a Spectre, so basically what I expected, a top 6. Hisui and Decidueye would have been okay in this, but he didn't bring it, so that's good for us. We're going to lead off with Rillaboom, as we said I was going to, and we will go from there. So this is obviously a pre-recording, so I'm just going to go over our thought process. So he leads Victini, which is pretty good. Obviously I am fearing Scarf with V-Create, Scarf with, yeah, so I just can't stay in, because even though I'm Scarfed, he could be Scarfed as well. And so I decide I'm going to switch out into my dedicated answer, which is Blastoise. And Cash Money comes out as Victini does a U-turn and goes straight into Primarina, as expected, because Primarina is the answer. Here I go for Terrain Pulse, because as I said, it's a pretty strong move into Primarina. So I go for Terrain Pulse, finding out it does absolutely nothing, so 25% health, which basically guarantees to me this is near max special defense Assault Vest, which is really good information to have, because that means that this thing isn't going to be doing much damage. I was kind of scared of Specs Primarina, because it could do a lot of damage to me, but now that we know it's AV, that's pretty good. he goes for Moonblast, showing kind of either he was going for a read or he doesn't have Energy Ball. Honestly, at this point, I should have realized he doesn't have Energy Ball because my switch would have either been probably would have been Aggron or what's it called? Well, I guess I could have been predicting Latias, so I could have predicted. I should have still anticipated Energy Ball, so I guess that's worth noting. Here, I decided to just Toxic because I don't think he's. If that's the most damage he can do to me, I'm fine with just sacrificing myself if he just switches to Energy Ball, but I think that he's gonna switch or just hit again, and either way, Toxic on anything is good here because everything here gets Toxic. So I Toxic the Mana Buzz and I miss. That would have been really big on the Mana Buzz because obviously I want Mana Buzz chipped, but that's no big deal. He decides to stay in fact, and go for a knockoff, getting rid of my Citrus Berry. But at this point, actually, I forgot to mention that on turn 1, seeing the U-turn damage, I already knew this was special Victini. So Victini is a special attacker and probably either Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. So I was going from there to understanding that it was Choice Locked. So I don't really need Blastoise as much. It's more expendable, and that's why I'm able to sacrifice my item and my health for getting Toxic on this Mana Buzz. Next up, she goes for a U-turn as I go for a flip turn, I believe, and I get to do decent chip to Victini, which is actually really good for us. As I go into Arceus Fire, I don't think that special Victini can do anything to me, so as I expected, he goes for a U-turn. Going into Primarina, that doesn't really matter to me. The thing is, Primarina isn't very physically bulky, so I can do whatever. I decide to sub up and just go for Stone Edge. I don't think it's time to set up just yet. I get to switch out into Rillaboom as he decides to flip turn back into Victini. Here I think, okay, I want to find out if this is Specs or Scarf, and now that I know Primarina is quite bulky, I don't really need Grassy Terrain for Terrain Pulse. I decide that Rillaboom is kind of expendable here. It's not the most needed, so I decide I'm gonna go for I think it was a knockoff or a U-turn. So I get information off of that because if I go first, then obviously I know that it's Specs or other item, but if he goes first, then I know he's Choice Scarf, which is very useful for me. And I also get free momentum anyway. Rillaboom isn't the best in this game, especially, well, it's decent into Groudon, but I do have answers into Groudon already, as you're about to see. And I think he's kind of scared of bringing out Groudon because Arceus can kind of just exploit that really badly. So I decide that I'm just going to go stay in and click U-turn. We see that he goes first and goes for Blue Flare, which is really good because now I know, number 1, he's Choice Scarf. Really good info. Number 2, my Grassy Terrain is set, so that's not that bad. And number 3, he is locked into Blue Flare specifically, which is really good for us because that means I get a free Arceus once again. So Divine Flame comes in. He decides to Blue Flare again. I'm not sure why, but he misses. I guess he wants to chip me down because he knows that I don't have good reliable recovery. But I decide to just go for Dragon Dance. I don't see a reason to substitute because let's say I sub and then I D-dance next turn, then I could have just D-danced this turn, especially if it was something like Mandibuzz with Foul Play or just a Spectre, for example. So I decide to Dragon Dance. This turn he switches out into Groudon as I decide to click Substitute, which this time it's safe, so I do it because why not? And now Flare Blitz does a lot of damage and also gives me a lot of info. So I believe like near max health, Groudon still gets killed. So the fact that he survives means that he's actually complete max defense Groudon, which is really good information to know. He decides to go for Precipice Blades that breaks my sub, but it's fine, it doesn't matter to me. I just click Flare Blitz again, which is Groudon's down, really great. Rillaboom's gone obviously, but number 1 Mandibuzz is toxic, Victini is semi-low, Primarina is not at a health where he can wall me, and things are going pretty well. Primarina comes in, I just go for Flare Blitz. I have no reason not to because I actually kill. And here I decide to switch out because if you guys remember, I have Healing Wish in the back, so I can still revive that low health Arceus. Mandibuzz cannot do anything to Aggron, so I decide that this is a good time to get Rocks up and also just force him to get out of there. So he goes for a knockoff, which is quite interesting because I don't think knockoff would have actually killed me. But here I Mega, and on the U-turn, as I set up rocks as he goes Victini. So here actually, Victini would have killed me with just a blue flare, even if he was scarfed. So I decided it was better just to go to Latias now, because Latias can take whatever Victini wants to do perfectly fine. So this could be my time to get Healing Wish. He goes for a U-turn, reading my switch, which is good, as he goes into Mana Buzz. But that's good for me because Mana Buzz can't actually do anything to me. He should have honestly gone into Spectrier, which I understand why he didn't, because he probably feared like 50-50s of switching into Urshifu or not. But this just gives me a free Healing Wish. So I decide to Healing Wish up now. So goodbye Latias. The only thing she does this game is just Healing Wish. That's beautiful because now I know that Mana Buzz doesn't really have Foul Play, because if I look at its move pool, it's got Knockoff, U-turn, and Defog. Last move is almost guaranteed to be Roost, so it cannot break my sub. So I know that he's not going to go for Foul Play, as he goes for a U-turn here to try and get some momentum, but the sub is specifically meant for Spectrier. Shadow Ball comes in as I Flare Blitz and just kill Spectrier outright. Doing a lot of recoil, but thank God I had Healing Wish to restore my health. That was really the only one downside of Arceus, is that the Flare Blitz recoil can actually do a lot to you. So yeah, Victini comes back in. Blastoise can still. I was happy for Blastoise to die here, so because it's always either momentum for me, or I get to click Flip Turn and it's also momentum for me. So Blastoise, even though he's not doing a lot of damage here, is a really valuable piece here in this game. I switch in, he takes a lot of damage, Spit F drops, and he switches out this turn, which is very interesting. But I just Flip Turn to ensure that I get the momentum. And Excalibur actually is now in Sucker Punch range if he's 0 defense. Sorry, not Sucker Punch, Wicked Blow range. But I just Wicked Blow and I do not get a kill. So this is actually, I'm pretty sure if it was 80 base power, I actually had a chance to kill her. But it turns out, it doesn't really matter. He goes for Glaive Rush and reveals he has Life Orb. Obviously I could have just Wicked Blowed again next turn. So not the biggest thing in the world, but yeah, that was like 90% of my health if had a little bit more damage. Victini comes in, obviously expecting to outspeed. I decide to switch out because it still has a decent use. I go into Blastoise and just kill it. It's made its purpose. Basically, it's just switched in on Victini the entire game and just maintain momentum. Arceus now can come in on the locked-in Blue Flare, so Stone Edge is now a free move. I don't mind clicking Stone Edge because I know I have multiple chances to get it. Mana Buzz can come in now. I get a Stone Edge off, doing really good damage as the Toxic builds up, and he goes for a knockoff. I see that a crit could kill me, so I decide I'm just going to switch into Aggron just to maintain the differential, because I can. Aggron's still a full, and Body Press just gets a kill. So that is the game. So our techs worked perfectly. Obviously I didn't get to use Eject Pack Latias to maintain momentum, but hey, he was quite reserved about going to Groudon, so I didn't get to bring in Latias an awful lot. But that's perfectly fine. My opponent played really well. He knew not to bring Groudon out early because that would just set up the sun for Arceus. So that's pretty smart of him. He actually said in the postgame he almost didn't bring Groudon at all because he really didn't want to set up the sun for me, but ended up bringing it because obviously Groudon's a good mon, and also his only rocker, so that would have been a really good deterrent for Arceus Fire. But yeah, really good win for the Calvin Comfey's first week of the ADL. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next week.